I forced her to marry me by all means. After we got married, I fulfilled all her requests, and we didn't even sleep together even when she had an ambiguous relationship with her childhood sweetheart Alex. I never asked about it. I also invested 10 million yuan to help Alex start a company on Alex's birthday. She forgot to take the gift and asked me to deliver it. If you can't deliver it within half an hour, we'll get a divorce. On the way to deliver the gift, I died in a car accident. When I opened my eyes again, the phone rang. This time I said, okay, let's get a divorce. When I opened my eyes again, I stared blankly around, as if I had just woken up from a long dream. The ringtone of the mobile phone suddenly pierced the silence. I looked down and saw that the caller ID was Maria. I hesitated for a moment, and then answered the phone. On the other end of the phone came Maria's familiar but cold voice. Tom, bring me the purple bag I left on the desk. Be at Qua restaurant within 30 minutes. If you're even a minute late, we'll get a divorce. When the words "get a divorce" reached my ears again, I finally came to my senses. I had been reborn. Reborn back to the time before I died. Getting a divorce was a common trick Maria used, and I had always known that. Tom, just because you married me doesn't mean you'll ever have me. If you have the guts, get a divorce. You just have a bit of money, don't you? I don't care about it. If you have the guts, get a divorce. I look down on men like you the most. I didn't get married to you voluntarily. Every day I've been looking forward to getting a divorce. That's right, Maria has always disdained me. She knew that I had used all means to marry her. So, how could she get a divorce so easily? When Maria's younger brother was ill, she worked part-time while studying and took on jobs everywhere. But it still wasn't enough. She had no choice but to borrow money from loan sharks. When the creditor came to her door, she cried and said that she would work hard to pay it back. The creditor sneered, looking at Maria's pretty appearance. He said, then go and sell yourself. You'll pay it back faster. As he spoke, he told his lackeys to drag Maria, who was on the ground. Maria struggled desperately, but to no avail. When I saw that, I quickly ran up and offered to pay off all her debts for her. However, Maria didn't appreciate me. In her heart, this was just a means for me to force her. In fact, at that time, I had never thought of using it to blackmail her. Perhaps she couldn't stand that kind of life herself and came to make a deal with me. She put forward 3 conditions. First, treat her younger brother's illness, and I need to pay all the expenses during the subsequent nursing process. Second, she and her childhood sweetheart Alex had opened a company and still needed 10 million yuan in principal, and I needed to pay the full amount. Third, after getting married, if she didn't want to, I couldn't force her to have a physical relationship. At that time, I agreed without even thinking. Now that I think about it, I was really stupid. I actually eagerly agreed to so many strange conditions. Seeing that I didn't speak, Maria on the other end of the phone was a bit angry, and her tone became sarcastic. Tom, do you hear me? Hurry up and bring it over, or we'll get a divorce. It was about getting a divorce again. Since she wanted a divorce so much, then I would grant her wish. Okay, let's get a divorce. After saying that, I hung up Maria's phone for the first time. On the other end of the phone, Maria held the phone tightly and shouted at the top of her lungs, what did you say? But she only heard the beeping sound of the hung-up call. Maria looked at the phone in disbelief. After all, I never had the courage to hang up on her before. I would always wait for her to be satisfied with scolding me before she hung up. When Alex saw that Maria didn't look, well, he quickly asked, what's wrong? Maria stabilized her emotions a bit and said, it's nothing, I just don't know what's wrong with Tom. I asked him to bring the gift I left at home, but he actually directly insisted on getting a divorce. Alex immediately comforted her softly. Maria, I actually don't care about the gift. Having you with me today is the best gift. When Maria heard Alex say this, a blush flashed across her face, and she immediately forgot about me. After all, in her heart, I wouldn't dare to really get a divorce from her. I called David and said, bro, come out and have a drink. When David received the call, he was a bit surprised. Don't you need to accompany your wife? Everyone in the company knew that I would go home on time. I never participated in social gatherings at night, just to rush home and cook dinner for Maria. I don't need to, I replied. Hearing me say that, David didn't hesitate either. I'm at the Dark Night Bar. Just come over directly. I'll wait for you. When I arrived at the Dark Night Bar, looking at the feasting and revelry, I suddenly realized that I hadn't been to such a place for a long time because Maria didn't like it. After getting married, I rarely went out with my brothers. I easily found David that night. I drank a lot of wine. All the pent-up emotions from my previous life were released at this moment. The alcohol didn't numb me. Instead, it made me more sober. Only after dying once can you understand that some people and some things can't be obtained by sacrificing your dignity. When we were both too drunk to stand properly, we helped each other out of the bar. In a trance, I seemed to see Maria. She was hugging Alex, and she took the initiative to stand on tiptoe and kiss Alex. They kissed on the street, as if there was no one else around. And then Alex took her to the nearest hotel. David noticed that I stopped walking, leaned over, and asked me, "What are you looking at?" I shook my head. "It's nothing." When I got home, I sat on the sofa. The night wind had already blown away most of the effects of the alcohol. I picked up my phone and sent a message. "Something still needs to be prevented in advance." There was only one sentence in the Rose Hotel. "Check on Alex and Maria." Early the next morning, Alex brought Maria back. As soon as they entered the door, they saw me sitting at the dining table, having breakfast. Alex and Maria came over and sat down directly. Maria opened her mouth and was about to order me around. "I want to have breakfast too. Bring me a bowl." I didn't move and continued to eat slowly. When Maria saw that I didn't respond, she stood up, directly put her hands on her hips, and said, "Did you hear me?" I didn't say anything. Maria was so angry that she waved her hand and knocked the breakfast on the table to the ground. "If you don't talk, you don't get to eat." I still didn't say anything. I lifted my legs and walked towards the door. Maria ran over and blocked my way. "What are you doing? You're getting too cocky. Quickly transfer 1 million yuan to Alex's company, and I'll forgive you this time." Maria held her head up and looked at me as if she were bestowing a favor. I shook my head. "Why should I transfer the money?" But now that you mention it, I suddenly remembered something. As I spoke, I picked up my phone and dialed a number. "Secretary Garcia, check if there are any business dealings between our company and Maria Group, and cut them off for me." When Secretary Garcia received the call, he was confused. Out of his professional sense as a secretary, he didn't ask, and just replied, "Got it." Maria's face turned very ugly. "Tom, what do you mean?" Alex also caught up. "Tom, are you still angry about yesterday? A man should be magnanimous. Yesterday Maria was just celebrating my birthday with me. Besides, it's you who can't keep Maria. Shouldn't you reflect on yourself?" Yeah, I nodded. I really needed to reflect on myself. I've reflected, and this is the decision I made after reflection. After saying that, I lifted my legs and walked out. Maria stood there angrily scolding me, and Alex kept comforting her. When I arrived at the company, Secretary Garcia immediately greeted me. "President, do you really want to cut off all business dealings with Maria Group?" I nodded. "Yes, cut them off," Secretary Garcia said cautiously. "But madam," before Secretary Garcia could finish speaking, I interrupted him directly. "There will be no madam from now on. I will get a divorce from her." When Secretary Garcia heard me say this, he stared at me in disbelief. In my previous life, I had always been secretly transferring benefits to Maria Group, and Secretary Garcia had always known about it. After Maria Group was established, it had actually been using my money all the time. When we got married, one of the conditions Maria put forward was that I should spend 10 million yuan to help her and Alex start a company, and I did. But Alex was not really capable of running a company. The company was poorly managed under his leadership and was on the verge of going bankrupt. I offered to help. Maria said no, that Alex definitely had the ability to bring the company back to life. She trusted Alex more than she trusted me. Even when the reality was right in front of her, she still didn't believe it. During that period, I saw her going out early and coming back late every day, helping Alex with business. Many times she was so drunk that she was sent back. I really felt sorry for her. I begged her to let me help Maria Group, and she reluctantly agreed. She also said, "This is what I want to give." She has never forced me. That's right, she has never forced me. So now I don't want to force her to accept my help either. Just after I cut off the business with Maria Group, Maria called me. "Tom, what's going on?" "Just now, so many people called and said they don't want to cooperate anymore." "What have you done? You'd better fix this. Or are you waiting for a divorce?" I held the phone and sneered at Maria's words. Sure enough, Maria still only knows how to threaten me with a divorce. "Oh, I thought I made it very clear to you yesterday that I want a divorce from you, and didn't I say this morning that I would cut off all business with Maria Group? You heard that too. Since we're already preparing for a divorce, I can't force you to accept my help, right?" Maria didn't know how to respond for a moment. After coming to her senses, she started to act unreasonably. "I don't care. Don't use this kind of play hard to get tactic on me. It won't work. I'm telling you, transfer 1 million yuan within half an hour and I'll forgive your childish behavior this time." I didn't even want to listen to Maria anymore and directly hung up the phone. Secretary Garcia stood aside and watched me hang up the phone with his mouth wide open. "Boss, you're not serious this time, are you?" Secretary Garcia knew very well how Maria had always manipulated Tom, but the onlooker sees most clearly while the player is often blind to what is happening. "I'm tough in business, but I just happened to fall into Maria's hands. I was so infatuated with her before, but now I've finally seen the light." I looked at the change in Secretary Garcia's expression and naturally understood what he was thinking. I looked at Secretary Garcia seriously. Just go ahead and do it. Just handle things according to the rules from now on. Secretary Garcia nodded and left. I sat in the office and looked at the photos that were investigated yesterday. The pictures were really shocking. During this time, Maria called me several times. This was the first time that I truly felt Maria's concern through her calls. Unfortunately, I don't want this kind of concern anymore, perhaps because I didn't answer the phone. Text messages started coming in one after another. I didn't even open them. I just let the phone vibrate beside me. This time, I won't be soft-hearted anymore. In the past, when I sent messages or called Maria, just pretended not to see or hear them unless it was something beneficial to her. I still remember once when there was a problem in my company and I worked around the clock for several days. I didn't even close my eyes. Finally, I couldn't hold on and fainted after Secretary Garcia sent me to the hospital. He called Maria many times. The doctor also contacted Maria several times, but she didn't answer at that time. I actually thought about getting a divorce. I really felt tired, but when she came to my hospital bed with fruits and Alex, she sat beside me and peeled an apple for me. At that moment, I was immediately soothed. Now, when I think about it, Maria didn't come to see me at all. She came to ask for money when she knew that my company had finally overcome the crisis. Before that, I was easily coaxed, and I directly transferred 2 million yuan to Maria Group. At that time, I never judged her by money. Now I realize that every time she was good to me, it was actually for my money. How pathetic, perhaps, because she couldn't get in touch with me, and Secretary Garcia couldn't stop them. Maria and Alex directly rushed into my office. Maria walked over angrily and slapped me in the face. Why didn't you answer the phone? I thought something had happened to you. Do you know I'd be worried if you go missing like this? Maria accused me while crying. If I had heard these words before, would have been very happy. But now I didn't feel any joy in my heart. I touched the face that was hurt by Maria's slap and smiled, worried about me. But the first thing you do is slap me. I really didn't know there was such a special way of showing concern. Maria was stunned by my retort and didn't react. For a moment, Alex quickly stepped forward. Tom, you're being unreasonable. Maria cares about you. So what if she used the wrong way out of anxiety? When I heard this, I couldn't help laughing. I directly slapped Alex in the face. Alex looked at me in disbelief and covered his face. I spread my hands and looked at Alex. Did you feel my concern? If you didn't, I can help you feel it again. When Alex heard this, he took a step back, as if he was afraid that I would really hit him again. Maria quickly pulled Alex and stood in front of him. Tom, if you have anything against me, come at me. Why hit Alex? Maria said as she gently touched Alex's face with her hand. I felt disgusted for the first time. I was also slapped by her just now, but in her eyes she completely ignored it. Yet she cherished Alex so much. Sure enough, no matter what I do, I can never compare to Alex. In her heart, this is probably the difference between love and no love. I looked at them and suddenly laughed out loud. I do have something. Getting a divorce from you is the most important thing I want to do now. When Alex heard this, he sensed something was wrong and quickly stepped forward to mediate. It's okay. I'm fine. Don't quarrel because of me. It's not a big deal. You're always talking about getting a divorce. Maria was deeply touched by Alex's magnanimity and that he was always thinking of her. But in my heart, I sneered. Alex is a typical male green tea person. He's really something. Does he even deserve to be the reason for our quarrel? Seeing Alex like this, Maria became even more disgusted with me. Don't talk to him anymore. I think he's out of his mind today and is acting crazy, Maria said angrily. I looked at them mockingly. You're wrong. I used to be the one who was out of my mind, but now I'm cured and I can see things more clearly. Why should I give the money I earned in my own company to Maria Group? If I donate 1 million yuan to charity, I can at least get a good reputation. What can I get by giving it to Maria Group? Is it your slap? Maria's face became uglier and uglier. She didn't expect me to say such things. Just then Maria's phone rang. Miss Maria, the fee for your younger brother wasn't paid yesterday. When will you make up for it? Maria immediately replied, right away. I'll pay it soon. After saying that, she hung up the phone. Maria held the phone tightly and looked at me angrily. You didn't pay the nursing fee for my younger brother. When I heard this, I remembered I used to love Maria's younger brother because of my love for her and always took good care of him. Plus, I never forgot the conditions I promised Maria, but this time since I was reborn, I did forget about it. However, even if I hadn't forgotten in this life, I won't continue to be a fool who's taken advantage of. I said, aren't we going to get a divorce? Then why should I continue to pay this fee? Moreover, over the years, haven't you taken a lot of money from me? Don't you have enough money to pay this fee for your younger brother? Do you have to rely on me, an outsider? Maria frowned. What do you mean? And Outsider, you're his brother-in-law, I sneered. I won't be soon. Besides, don't you have Alex over the years? Hasn't the money his company earned from me been enough to pay this fee for your younger brother? When Alex heard this, his face darkened. Maria quickly jumped out to defend Alex. Why do you always drag Alex into everything? What obligation does he have to pay this money? I sneered. My so-called relationship with her is far inferior to that between her and Alex. After the divorce, you can establish a relationship with him, and then he'll have the obligation. Maria was so angry that she ignored me and turned around to pull Alex away. I'm the only one who can say we're getting a divorce. If you say it, I won't divorce you. I felt that at this moment, I finally saw Maria. Clearly, it turned out that it wasn't me who was afraid of getting a divorce, but her. When I got home that day, I saw that all my things had been thrown out. I knew it was Maria who did it. She had done this before, but in the past I thought her willfulness was cute. I even thought that she was being willful because she wanted me to coax her. Now, when I think about it, I was really stupid before I even made excuses for Maria. Isn't this a typical case of being sold and still helping to count the money? This time, I didn't indulge her. I called the police directly. This house was bought before marriage, and Maria has no right to do this. After the police arrived, I directly, this house is mine now. I can't get in, and all my things have been thrown out. Maria didn't expect that I would call the police. She kept scolding when the police rang the doorbell. Beg me, if you beg me, I'll let you in. Obviously, she thought it was me outside. The police looked at me, and I spread my hands. We're getting a divorce soon. Hearing me say this, the police directly shouted towards the inside. Miss Maria, we are the police. Your current behavior is illegal. Open the door quickly, or we'll break it down. Maria had been comfortably eating fruits inside, waiting for me to apologize. When she heard the voice of the police, she was stunned. For a moment, she didn't expect that I would go to such extremes. She quickly ran over and opened the door. As soon as she opened the door, Maria immediately put on a smiling face. Officer, this is just a little quarrel between husband and wife. It's not illegal. The police looked at me. It depends on this gentleman's opinion. Maria immediately gave me a glare. I looked at her and said, pick up all the things that were thrown out and put them back in their original places, and I won't pursue this matter. When Maria heard this, she looked at me angrily. At once, how dare you ask me to do something? I looked at the police innocently and said, she's threatening me. Officer, why don't you just handle this according to the law? As soon as the police heard this, they immediately stepped forward. Seeing the situation, Maria sensibly went to pick up the things. I also troubled the police to supervise this. After saying that, I ignored Maria and walked in. Looking at Maria's figure going in and out, I picked up the basin of fruits that Maria hadn't finished eating them. They were really sweet. I'm afraid Maria regrets throwing out so many things. It was more than an hour later that Maria finally put all the things back in their original places. I said thank you to the police and closed the door. Maria was completely exhausted. Are you satisfied now? I looked at her sitting on the ground, tired out, and then at the things that had been put back in place. It seems that I didn't do anything. You were the one who threw the things out, isn't it also your obligation to pick them up? Maria looked at me speechlessly. What's wrong with you recently? There should be a limit to being jealous of Alex. I have nothing with him. If you don't want to give money to Maria Group, then don't give it. Maria's tone obviously softened a bit. I ignored her and went upstairs. As far as I can remember, this is the first time she has shown weakness, but unfortunately, I don't want it now. The next day, Alex came to find me early in the morning instead of Maria. Tom, aren't you afraid that Maria will really divorce you if you keep making such a fuss like this? I know you love Maria. You're just jealous of me being with her. Don't worry, I can stop seeing Maria from now on. Don't take your anger out on her. Alex earnestly and persuasively admonished me, but I laughed. Alex really used the strategy of retreating in order to advance. Well, before I could say anything, Maria had already run downstairs. She hugged Alex moodily with a naive and firm look in her eyes. Don't beg him. If we get a divorce, then so be it. Don't beg him because of me. It's just money. I have it. Maria looked at me hatefully. After saying that, Maria took out her phone and transferred 1 million yuan to Alex. After the transfer, she even waved the phone in front of me. I just felt it was ironic. All this money was what I had begged her to accept when I was trying to coax her when she had a little temper before. Now she is using it to support Alex. I just don't know how long this money will last for her to support him. Maria took Alex's hand and left. I watched them go and didn't stop them. When I got to the company, I directly instructed the lawyer to draw up a divorce contract and send it to Maria Group. When Maria saw the divorce contract, she was furious. She sat on Alex's lap and kept complaining, he really dares to divorce me. I'm so angry. However, Maria's mind was obviously not on this. She took the contract and kept staring at the part about property division. Maria, you must not get divorced in vain. We must get back what belongs to you. When Maria heard this, she looked at Alex movedly. At this time, Alex was still thinking of her wholeheartedly. Don't be in a hurry to sign. Tom is suddenly in such a hurry to get a divorce. There might be something fishy going on. Let's follow him and see. Alex said. Maria nodded, feeling that it made sense. After all, I would never have treated her like this before. In the following days, Alex and Maria both secretly followed me in their cars. Finally, one day they found me with a rather pretty girl, and our behavior was quite intimate. Maria said, no wonder Tom wants to divorce me. It turns out that he really has someone else outside. Alex quickly took out his phone and started taking photos of me. He smiled triumphantly. The photos are all taken this time. We must make Tom pay the price. He actually dares to betray you. Fortunately, I have you, otherwise I would definitely have signed it foolishly. Maria hugged Alex movedly. The next day, Alex brought Maria to me. Alex smiled and said, we don't agree to this divorce agreement. We demand that you leave the marriage with nothing. I looked at them mockingly. Leave the marriage with nothing? Are you sure? Maria stepped forward and was about to hit me. I didn't let Maria hit me as I did before. I grabbed the slapping hand. Don't you know what you've done? Alex, show him the photos you took. Alex took out the photos and smiled triumphantly. We have photos of you fooling around with other women. You can't deny it. As he said this, he threw the printed photos in front of me. I calmly picked up one photo and took a look before I could say anything. A woman ran out from the house. When Maria saw clearly who it was the woman in the photo. At once her face was filled with anger. We're not divorced yet, and you can't wait to bring someone home. The woman came over and greeted Maria with a smile. Sister-in-law, don't you recognize me? Maria was confused what was going on. Before she could react, the woman smiled and said, I'm Tom's cousin, Isabella. We were just having a meal. As she said this, she winked at Maria. When Alex heard this, he felt that something was wrong. I just smiled and watched this farce. Since Maria didn't care about me so much, how could she recognize my relatives? When Maria and I just got married, I took her to meet all my relatives. My relatives also attached great importance to her and had prepared gifts early. However, Maria didn't show them any good face. She left halfway through the meal before it was finished. I could only keep explaining to my relatives, saying that she wasn't feeling well. In fact, it wasn't that she wasn't feeling well because she didn't value me. She also looked down on my relatives, so naturally she wouldn't remember my cousin Isabella. They deserved all this. Alex knew that he wouldn't get any benefits by staying, so he pulled Maria and wanted to leave. I spoke up and stopped them. Why are you in such a hurry to leave? I also have photos here. Do you want to take a look? As I said this, I walked into the house and took out an envelope. Take a look for yourselves, I said, and handed the envelope to Maria. The moment Maria opened it, the photos scattered on the ground. When Alex saw this, he quickly and nervously went to pick them up. The photos clearly showed Maria and Alex rolling around together. I think we can talk about leaving the marriage with nothing now, and the one who should leave with nothing can be you. I looked up at Maria. Maria looked at me in shock, not expecting things to turn out like this. Alex was still picking up the photos on the ground. I sneered, don't pick them up. I have more. He slumped down on the ground. I looked at the two of them. And of course, I'm not a heartless person. The house where your younger brother lives will be left to you. You two can be together well for the rest of your lives. This time, Maria and Alex didn't say anything more and left in a sorry state. Isabella waved at their departing backs. Former sister-in-law, never see you again. It wasn't long before Maria Group had a funding gap. Alex hugged Maria. Why don't we mortgage the villa? When Maria heard this, she was a bit reluctant in her heart. After all, now the villa was all she had left. The money she got from me had already been used up long ago, and she had to start thinking about herself. Seeing Maria's reaction, Alex immediately said, the company definitely has to keep operating. I'm still planning to marry you, so I have to work hard to make money. Maria, who was a bit reluctant in her heart at first, immediately hugged Alex happily upon hearing this. Really, you want to marry me? Alex nodded. Let's go get the marriage certificate today. Under Alex's sweet words, Maria happily posted a status on her social media. The caption, after all these years, I can finally marry him. I also saw this status. I just smiled and didn't say anything. It's just right that these two scumbags are together so they won't be able to harm others anymore. Unfortunately, their good days didn't last long. Without my help, Alex could only take Maria and start begging others for jobs. After all, the money from mortgaging the villa was far from enough for their extravagant spending. Over the years, I had already spoiled them. Now that there was no one to spoil them, the habits they had developed couldn't be changed overnight. They had long been used to living a life of luxury, especially Alex. For so many years relying on Maria, he had never worried about money. Now it was the real test of their love. Later I accidentally saw Maria and Alex, who were out for business entertainment. At the dining table, Maria was drinking glass after glass of wine. In the middle of it, someone even touched her buttocks. I saw the change in Maria's expression. Maria looked at Alex with a pleading look in her eyes, but he turned a blind eye. He clearly felt disgusted, yet he still forced a smile. This was the life she wanted. I was the one who was stupid before, treating her like a precious treasure. I couldn't help but reflect on myself. After half of the drinking session, Maria was obviously drunk. When she completely collapsed on the table, Alex gave a look to the big boss present and even slipped a room card to him. The big boss helped Maria and went upstairs. I looked at all this and suddenly found it ridiculous. When we got married, I even promised Maria that I wouldn't touch her if it wasn't her own will. Now does she know that she is being treated like a commodity and slept with by all kinds of men? Gradually, Maria noticed that Alex seemed to care less and less about her. She wasn't sure if it was just her illusion. One day, Alex said to her, "Maria, we don't have much money now. The company will probably have to be closed down." Maria looked at Alex in shock and said, "How could that be? Weren't there always contracts bringing in money?" Alex looked at her helplessly. "Those were just small contracts. The company has high expenses, and it's simply not enough. Why don't you go back to Tom and get back together with him? He liked you so much before. As long as you're willing to sleep with him, he will definitely agree." Maria looked at Alex in shock, unable to believe that these words came out of his mouth. She suddenly realized that things were not what she had thought. It turned out that Maria Group had never relied on Alex, but on me. She suddenly felt that the Alex in front of her was a bit strange. "I won't go to Tom. I can still live well without him." Maria was unwilling. She didn't believe that she couldn't live a good life without me. She still had a bit of pride left and was determined to prove it to me. However, Alex seemed to suddenly lose his patience. "If you don't go to Tom, we won't have enough money to hire a caregiver. Don't you feel sorry for your younger brother?" Maria clenched her fists. "I can go and earn money. I will definitely take good care of my younger brother." Seeing that Maria wouldn't listen to reason, Alex suddenly didn't want to say anything more and just left. Maria looked at Alex's back and thought of me. It was half a year later when I saw Maria again. Alex dragged Maria and waited in front of my house. Maria was very reluctant and wanted to leave, but was firmly held down by Alex. "I'm returning your woman to you. Take her away quickly," Alex said and threw Maria in front of me. Maria hurriedly lowered her head and bit her lips tightly. I looked at them with amusement. If I remember correctly, I have nothing to do with Maria anymore. Alex quickly stepped forward and said obsequiously, "Didn't you always want to sleep with her? 1,000,000 yuan. I'll sell this woman to you. You can do whatever you want with her in the future." When Maria heard this, she pulled her clothes tighter and trembled slightly. Seeing that I didn't speak, Alex quickly said, 50,000 yuan is okay too." I looked at him sarcastically and he immediately said, 10,000 yuan is okay. It can't be any lower. I shook my head and looked at him with amusement. Why did he think that I would still want Maria now? Alex, in a fit of desperation, pulled Maria's hair and said, "Quickly beg him to take you." Maria looked at me stubbornly and didn't say anything. I looked at them like this, ignored them, and turned around to close the door. It was really a good show, but unfortunately, I just felt it was extremely ironic. When Alex saw the door closed and was sure that I really had no intention of taking Maria anymore, the look in his eyes towards Maria became even more malicious. He kicked her. Maria was kicked down like this and let out a moan. "You're completely useless. You're so reluctant to let Tom sleep with you. You've already been slept with by so many men. Why are you still pretending to be a chaste woman?" Maria kept shaking her head. "I didn't. I'm not. It's all you. It's all your fault. You drugged me. That's why I had a relationship with them." Alex bent down and pinched Maria's face. "Oh, is that so? In the end, you enjoyed it too, didn't you?" Maria was hit where it hurt and suddenly became fierce, charging towards Alex. Alex wasn't prepared for a moment and was knocked to the ground. He stood up angrily and kicked Maria several more times, showing no mercy at all. "How dare you treat me like this? Good. Very good. You can just walk home by yourself." After saying that, he drove away alone. Maria couldn't believe that Alex had just left like that. She had no money on her and could only walk back home. The journey was long and her feet hurt from walking, but it was far less painful than her heartache. Maria couldn't believe that Alex was actually such a person. This was the man she had loved for decades, yet he could treat her like this. She had never expected it. When Alex got home, he took his anger out on Maria's younger brother. "You two siblings only know how to eat and use my things. Your sister is so useless. You don't need to stay at home either. Get out of here now." After saying that, he kicked Maria's younger brother out of the house. After years of treatment, Maria's younger brother's mental state was still not sound, and he could barely walk. He limped outside. He was going to find Maria. Finally, he saw Maria's figure at the intersection. He called out, "Sister," and happily ran towards Maria. A truck crashed into him head-on. Maria witnessed her younger brother's death right in front of her eyes. She ran over, held her younger brother in her arms, and cried bitterly. Maria's younger brother mumbled, "Sister," came out to find sister. "Brother Alex is angry." Before he could finish, he gasped his last breath and never woke up again. Maria held her younger brother, and tears kept falling. She understood that it was Alex who had driven her younger brother out. She hated him so much. How could things have turned out like this? When Maria, holding her younger brother who was covered in blood, appeared in the villa, Alex didn't even raise his head. "You're home? Go and cook. You're completely useless." Maria didn't say anything. She put down her younger brother and went to the kitchen. When she came out again, Maria was holding a knife in her hand. She walked up to Alex and stabbed him randomly. When Alex realized it, it was already too late. He stared at Maria with wide eyes. Maria dragged him in front of her younger brother. "You killed my younger brother. Pay with your life. Pay with your life." Alex cried and begged for mercy. "I was wrong. I was wrong. Don't kill me." However, Maria seemed to be deaf to everything. She didn't stop until she could no longer hear Alex's voice. She sat in the pool of blood, laughing loudly with big tears falling from the corners of her eyes. Maria was sent to prison. I went to the detention center and saw Maria wearing handcuffs. She looked completely dejected, as if she had aged many years. Maria didn't expect to see me. She looked at me and said, "I lost." Her tone was extremely calm, no longer as bossy as before. I looked at her, said nothing, and left. When I walked out of the detention center and looked at the blue sky, I smiled. Playing my cards carefully step by step, I finally won. What Maria didn't know was that I knew that she and Alex were following me, so I deliberately found Isabella to stage a play. When we got divorced, I deliberately left her a villa. Otherwise, how could a profit-driven person like Alex have continued to stay with her? I sent people to deliberately besiege Maria Group, accelerating its bankruptcy. I watched as Alex continued to make money by using her remaining looks and body. However, I didn't expect that Maria's younger brother would die. But I don't regret it. In this second chance at life, only when they completely fell into the abyss did I finally see the light. At first, when I went to see her, I wanted to know if she ever loved me. However, the moment I saw her, I realized that none of it mattered because I had already let go of her a long time ago.